right, Elin, are we ready to rumble? We've got a long drive ahead of us, but I think we are ready to go and live at Stanmore Hospital, have surgery, and then you're going to be much better and happier when it's all done, won't you, girl? We are settled in a room at Stanmore Hospital. It is Tuesday evening, and tomorrow morning she has got her big hip surgery. But for now, we're just chilling. We're having some food while we're still allowed food. And what I'm trying for the first time ever today is this Wilbo's blends, because they do travel pouches, and that just made my life so much easier. And how cool is that bolus adapter for pulling the blend up, huh? That is just awesome. I'm going to warn you now, I am too tired to vlog. So I hope I will be able to do this in some form of coherence. I just had a slight panic there. Did I turn on the camera? Yes, I did. Way too tired to vlog. Right, okay, that's the rest of your blend. I need to get you some water. That's what we're doing now. And apparently I'm spilling blend on my table. If you can see a big plaster on Elin here, that's nothing to worry about. That is her port having been accessed. And for some reason, the nurse decided that it needed padding. So she has padded it a lot. But that is not any problem. Nothing to worry about. Hey, baby. We have had a day. That's putting it mildly. When I asked for a day before admission, that was so that we could come in the afternoon and get settled calmly and not have to be driving in any form of rush hour, not have to stress her out in the morning or anything like that, right? And then at the end of last week, we got an email from the surgeon secretary saying 7 a.m. admission. And I went, no. No, that does not happen. I want to come in the afternoon. Oh, no, we need you before the afternoon. I'm like, you'll see us at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much. We'll come in at 1. Yeah, okay, 1's fine. And then yesterday, they rang Dad. Oh, no, we need you to come in and do x-rays at 9:30. And Dad went, no, that is not going to happen. That is too early. So he managed to negotiate 10:30, 11 o'clock instead. But that threw me into an absolute tailspin because I had banked on having hours today to pack and prep, and I wasn't given any of those hours. So I wasn't best pleased. Now, what am I doing? I'm putting things in the wrong place, people. I want the open bottles in there. Where are the open bottles? They are here, and then I want the spare bottles in the bottom cupboard. I got up very early in the morning to make sure that I got ready. Is this funny? Yes, it's really funny that mommy has to get up at 3:30 in the morning. You know what else happened this morning? I woke up at 2:30 with a massive cramp in my calf. You know you're stressed when? Yeah, so I was up at stupid o'clock to pack and get ready. And then I dropped Alice off for school. I picked Elin up at her dad's, filled up the van with everything, and we set off. So we left shortly after 9 o'clock. We left Bedford. And then we hit the M1 in torrential downpour. It was bad. Visibility was down to a few meters. It was not pleasant to drive in. But we did it, and I mean, we took it very easy. I always drive safe, and I'm not going to put my child in any form of danger. So we made it down here. We were at the site at about 10:30 and could not get parking. There's some form of train strike on today, of course. Why wouldn't there be? So everybody who had a reason to be here today has driven, and there wasn't a single disabled bay left available anywhere. There wasn't actually any parking spaces left anywhere. People were parked on double yellows. People were parked in no parking zones, you know, with the yellow stripes over them. People were queuing to get into the car parks. It was insane. And then I spotted my friend here. There's a man who's been working as a parking attendant here for years, and he is amazing. And I think possibly because I stop and chat to him, he will move heaven and earth for me, because I have never once been unpleasant or rude. I've always only ever been really friendly. So I saw him. We'd driven up the hill to outpatients because that's the easiest way to get into x-ray, because we were supposed to go to x-ray as soon as we came in, right? And halfway down the hill, cars are queuing, and I can see a little spot where I can turn around. So I pull up and I turn around, and that's when I spot him. So I have a little chat to him, and he's like, if I could get you down to the end there, I would park you on the no parking bit. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to be very popular if I queue jump. And in any case, there is no way of getting there. And he's like, no. Where can you go? So he started suggesting a few other places around the hospital site. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll set off and see what I can do. In the end, I found one disabled bay tucked away behind all the other buildings, literally in the furthest corner of the site. I'm like, yeah, that bay is mine. I knew that obviously later on today there would be spaces available, and there are now. I've moved the van, I'm parked up in the main car park. I needed to park and I needed to get the most immediate bags and just get down here kind of thing. So that's what I did. I loaded myself and Elin up with what I could bring, and then I wheeled us up and down and over and across and around and about. And I mean, why is the Royal National Orthopaedic Hospital on a hillside? It always tickles me. That is the bizarrest thing. It makes no sense, and it's most certainly not accessible. And I decided there was no way that I was traipsing up to X-ray on my own, because that is back up that hill where I was queuing with the cars earlier. I was like, no, that's not happening. So I went straight to the main ward, and also because I know that there is a way through to X-ray from the ward with a lift and things. And I said as it was, you know, I'm not pushing her wheelchair up that. I would like to put my bags down somewhere. I would like to put my chilled foods in the fridge, and then if somebody can help me through to X-ray. And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So they took us in. They immediately put us in a shared bay, so a 4-bed bay, and started having various admission conversations with us, which I suppose was nice. Very quickly, we had the pharmacist, the doctor, and the nurse all trying to have conversations with us. And then the phone rings, and it's the surgical registrar going, why haven't you had an X-ray yet? I'm like, we've literally just arrived, and explained to him obviously the parking situation, and I had bags and everything. So we've gone to the ward and we're waiting for a nurse to come and get us through to X-ray. Oh, we were hoping to have the X-rays earlier rather than later. Okay, well, I was hoping to get in this afternoon. I don't know what to tell you. But eventually, we then got the decision that we should be taken down to X-ray, and that we were going to leave Elin in her bed, because I'd taken her out of her wheelchair. She was in pain, she was tired, so I wanted to get her out of her wheelchair and resting for a bit. So they were going to take her in the bed. And then the porters decided they didn't want to take her in the bed, they wanted to take her on a kind of trolley, which is still a bed, just smaller, right? And so they went to get the trolley, and then there was lots of debates about whether she should be hoisted onto the trolley, but they settled on, it's not called a slip and slide. What is it called, Elin? You know, slippery fabric and a board of some sort. It's gonna be forever known as a slip and slide in my head. That's what's stuck. So that was done, and they wheeled her down to X-ray. I followed along, obviously, and now she's supposed to be a VIP guest here at this luxury hotel. She's really not meant to be waiting, but we ended up you ended up having to wait in X-ray, didn't you? You were taking up half the waiting room as well. When I say the trolley is smaller than the bed, it really isn't by much. I think the main difference is that they can get the X-ray plate in underneath the mattress on the trolley. So we were sitting there in the waiting room, and she promptly fell asleep because she had had enough of the day at that point. And I almost fell asleep. I was absolutely shattered. That drive, it was a bit high intensity, I have to say. In X-ray, I got to don the rather fetching lead gown, because obviously I have to be with Elin as she's having X-rays done, and they have to protect me. So I had the weight vest on, and then it's up to me to maneuver Elin into various positions needed in order to take the X-ray, including at one point standing and pushing the plate down as hard as I could into the mattress so we could get deep into her hip with the picture. It's a workout, I tell you. And then once they were happy, we got wheeled back onto the ward, and she had enough. She started getting really upset. I was hungry at that point, so I managed to get somebody to look after Elin, and I went and heated my food up. And then I was sitting eating my food, and everybody that had come in to talk to me before we went to X-ray all came back to finish off those conversations, because obviously we weren't done. Anyone order pizza? I have not ordered any pizza, no. Thank you. Wouldn't mind ordering pizza. Yeah, so I'm basically sitting there. I'm trying to eat. She has lost the plot at this point. She is not happy. So I'm eating. I'm trying to comfort her. Are you okay, baby? Oh, let's not throw up in the middle of the vlog, huh? Shall I shift you a little bit, see if we can get a better position? You know, I rather lost my line of thought there. Good cough. Where was I? Yes, I'm trying to eat. I'm trying to comfort Elin. I am speaking to the pharmacist, going through all of her medicines, making sure he's got them right. I'm speaking to the doctor about pretty much the same things. I'm speaking to the nurse, trying to do all the admission paperwork. The anaesthetist shows up and wants to have a conversation. That was a lot of conversations all at once, and Elin was, she was rather over it at this point, you know. And then another nurse shows up and she wants to draw bloods. And I'm like, well, do you want to access the port to do that? Do you want to cannulate her arm? Like, what's going on? The doctors want her to access the port. Okay, well, I have the cannulas with me, but they're in the van, and the van is 30 miles that direction. If I told you once, I've told you a million times, do not exaggerate. And I look out the window and I can see that a bay has become available. So I'm like, listen, somebody stay with Elin. I'm going. So the nurse is staying with Elin. She had actually calmed down at the time when I left. But while I was gone, she did a very good foghorn impression. She was being very loud. Extremely loud, so loud in fact that the nurses had a little conversation and they decided that Elin has very complex needs. She has a lot of equipment. We need a space for the wheelchair. We need a space for all of the suitcases of medicines and pads and feeds, and we need a lot of room to maneuver around her as the medical staff here. We can't quite manage with the small amount of space we have. So Elin really needs a side. Everybody's too polite to say she's too damn loud. Let's chuck her in a room by herself because we can't have her scaring the neighbors. I mean, honestly, I couldn't imagine anything worse than sitting in a hospital waiting to hear that my child is out of surgery and I have somebody screaming as loudly as Elin was right next to me. So it is absolutely the right decision. And I am rather proud of her that she screamed her way into an upgrade. I'd much rather be in this room as well. I don't want to share a bed with people. And eventually, I suppose, we have gotten settled in our little space here. We're going to have, hopefully, a calm evening. I'm waiting for the nurse handover to be done so that I can get somebody to sit with Elin while I go and make my dinner. I'm going to have probably Spanish style grains and lentils with hot dogs. I don't know. I've just brought food that doesn't have to be kept in the fridge, but I do have some fresh vegetables as well, so I can pimp it up a little bit. And hopefully she'll stay settled for the rest of the evening, go to sleep, have a good night, and then I've got to be up at 6 tomorrow morning and give her morning medicines, and then she's not allowed any more fluids or anything after that. So yeah, that's our first day in Stanmore. You have had a chance to see our ensuite, and I'm going to turn on our cool fan because we're hot. Look at this. We've got a Dyson. Oh, so much better. I'll just stand here and be like model with my hair blowing in the wind. Well, I will catch you up on what happens over the next few days, but I think it's music o'clock for me and Elin and get our evening started. Thanks for watching. Bye.